There are both traditional and modern ways of making paper. Modern methods have become more popular, as it is more efficient and fast. But Koreans are stuck to one of the most traditional ways of making paper. They have a particular type of paper that they sometimes use for special printing. Also, they have decided to keep their tradition going by making traditional Korean paper. This type of paper is widely used all over the country, which is why they are still making more and more. The entire process is even traditional, with a few modern touches here and there. But to maintain originality, most of the techniques are traditional. So, how do they do it? Today, we will have an exclusive first look at the entire process of making traditional Korean paper. The paper we are about to look at today is called hanji. This durable paper is made from dark, which is the bark of paper mulberry trees, and dark pool, which is sap from the ikeba plant. These sheets of paper have various uses apart from writing. They can also be used to make a range of objects, such as screens for doors, clothing, fans, and even lanterns. Even though there are more modern practices, this is one of the most interesting ones yet, and one that still lives on. The process starts with the dark, or mulberry bark, harvested from the tree. This is mainly done sometime between November and February. Since you cannot use wet bark to make paper, it has to be dried. Once it is dried, it is referred to as hyukpi. After the hyukpi is ready, it is put into boiling water to make it softer and more tender. The water is not burning at high temperatures, but it is hot. This is done for an entire day to ensure that all the hyukpi is soaked in water. After that, the hyukpi is removed and is now ready for the next step. The next step involves the removal of the soft outer bark of the hyukpi. This is done with the help of a gadget that peels it off. The worker doing this will wrap the hyukpi around a pole-like object, then push the small metal bar at the top to lie on the hyukpi. Once this is done, he pulls the hyukpi, which peels off the outer bark. At the end of this, he makes sure that he is left with a thin inner bark that is almost translucent. The parts that have not been removed with this device are cut off using scissors or something sharp. By this time, this hyukpi is now referred to as bakepi. Before the bakepi can be taken to the next step, it must be washed. There should be no impurities. Otherwise, they risk ruining the quality of the paper in the end. Therefore, the bakepi is cleaned thoroughly before being arranged according to strips and dried. Once they are all dried, they look like mulch, which is what will be used. As the bakepi is drying, there is water being boiled somewhere. This water is not pure as it has been seasoned with the burned stems of soybeans, or buckwheat husks. When the bakepi is dry enough, it is placed in this water and brought to a boil. This is supposed to be done in the next 5 hours. This is quite a long process, so it is all done in a machine that mixes all these ingredients. This is done for quite some time before the device is finally switched off. Now it is time to harvest the bakepi. This entire mixture is then poured into a large container. This is where the pulp will separate from the water, leaving a thick, dry pulp behind. This thick, dry pulp is then collected for the next step. Since it is a lot, a small portion is separated from it and added to the water. This process is mainly for coating the bakepi with dark pool, the sap of an ibika plant. Even though this process is being done with the help of a machine, they still have to maintain its tradition, which means stirring the whole mixture with an extraordinary stick. The Koreans refer to this stick as puldagel. The process is done for a while as more bakepi is added to the mix. Once it is ready, the machine is shut down and is now prepared to make the strips of paper. To do this, the worker will use a thin sheet of bamboo. This sheet will help make the paper as light as possible because it cannot hold much water on it. This sheet is placed on a grid-like structure just above the mixture. It is placed on top and made to be flat before proceeding. The worker then proceeds to dip the entire sheet in the water. To make it as even as possible, the worker will first dip it from the point that he is holding it. He will then seem like he is scooping the water, directing it to the other side of the sheet. After that, he proceeds to dip it from the side, and just like he did, he redirects the water to the other side of the sheet. He then does this from the side several times, ensuring that the entire sheet has been covered in this water. Once he has ensured that the entire sheet has been covered with this water, he takes the sheet and places the wet side on another sheet. He has to ensure that the sheet fits perfectly on this other sheet to ensure that it is even with the other sheets. The sheet is then dried with the help of a roller. He takes a plastic hollow tube and rolls it over the bamboo sheet. This removes all the water from both the bamboo sheet and the sheet underneath it that is forming. He ensures that he has done it on every corner of the bamboo sheet, ensuring it is completely dry. Once that is done, and he removes the bamboo sheet on top, it comes out as dry as ever, while the sheet is left on the other platform. Once the sheet is off, he returns to the grid above the water and performs the swinging operation again. Like before, he ensures that the entire sheet has been covered with this water. Once that is done, he adds it to the other pile of sheets. This is done for some time until a block of paper forms. However, this is not yet paper, but it is almost there. This entire block is placed on a platform, and a vast block of wood is placed on it. After that, the worker places 4 rectangular blocks of wood on top of the platform, placing 3 down and 1 across. Then, he takes a hydraulic jack and puts it on the topmost block of wood. After that, he raises the jack to a steady platform above it. As he keeps pushing, the half-finished sheets of paper are pressed, which makes them drier and more compact. After some time, he removes the jack and everything else above the sheets of paper. By this time, they are now ready to be completed. This is now paper, and all remaining is to separate them. Using some small sticks, the worker starts by making the edges even. After that, he can strip off a thin sheet of paper. He uses one of the sticks to be able to remove a thin sheet of paper at the edges. Once the sheet has been removed, he strips it off and places it on a warm platform. Once it is here, he proceeds to brush it as it dries, ensuring that it does not have any impurities on top. Once that sheet is ready, it is removed from the platform and another one is placed there. The end product of this step is that thin sheet of paper that is now ready for use. By the time they are done with all this process, they will have probably made a lot of sheets of paper. It may seem tiring, but doing it at that pace is necessary. Otherwise, they risk ruining it. The whole process is done more by hand than machine, which keeps the paper's originality and the tradition of making this paper alive. So, what do you think of the entire process? Feel free to let us know in the comments section below. Also, if you enjoyed this smooth video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.